Welcome to the Imperial Grandstand, and I'm Alan Imperial.
And I'm Carlos Del Rosario.
And today we're going to be going over the seventh episode of Star Trek Picard, Nepenthe.
Nepenthe, yes, yes. So let's get to it.
This is an episode I know I've been waiting for.
Oh yes, the great reunion between Picard and Riker and Troy.
Ah,
Yeah, it's
and and Troy just brings it in this episode
you
and
know
lays the smackdown.
we'll get to it, but it's this is some great Troy stuff, man.
Ah,
Marina Sirtis really outdid herself.
she always brings it,
Yes.
man. So we start off on a flashback.
Yep. All right. So this was the second episode. This is 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's when Dr. Girardi is just having her lunch by the Daystrom Institute in Okinawa.
Yeah, and she's listening to her AirPods.
Yeah, she's visited by Commander O of Starfleet Security, who's wearing those glasses. Never 100% got used to them. It's still weird in my eyes, but okay, yeah, sure, we'll go with it.
You know, sunglasses like ovens. You know, once you get it right the first time.
Yeah, but those look totally like Ray-Bans.
Yes.
And it's like, I mean,
She wants to be a spy.
it's like, sure, you're doing your Agent Smith thing. All right, fine. Okay, great.
So
Anyway,
we finally find out what they talk about,
yes, yes. So,
and then they don't
talk
really
about
talk.
and that, and Girardi has been being watched, and that she has communications with Picard, and Commander O does a Commodore O
Commodore O.
does a mind meld with Girardi, and we see all types of things.
Yeah. First, there's like a ritual going
There's
on.
a ritual. There's some explosion stuff, and in a mind meld, they share the same mind, so it's a real big
It's a two-way street between
yes.
two people.
Yes,
It's
yes,
it's one of the most intimate things you could do as a Vulcan.
yes. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I've never seen anything like this in Star
Yeah.
Trek. Just
And they actually say, "Oh, you're gonna go crazy knowing this," and
yes.
clearly this person has.
Yes. Yeah, no, the Vulcans
Ooh.
or the Romulans, I'm not sure which, but they're going insane.
Yeah.
And it's some planet destroying, stuff that's happening, and it has to deal with the synths and why synths should not be around in the galaxy.
Yeah.
And Girardi has turned. It's she's now an asset to the Commodore. Like, what does she need to do? And
She has to have gum.
yeah. She basically ingests a tracker into her body, and we go back to present day. There's a lot of stuff that happened on the Borg cube, but the La Serena that is in a tractor beam that is by the Borg artifact.
Yeah.
Ralphie, I've noticed when she was trying to get her way out, there are things that look like Dodge's necklace, the circles. This is an
Oh,
ongoing thing. Yeah, it's very fast, but it happens. Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
And Dr. Girardi, she does a complete about face here, where she's just like, yeah, can't we just tell him we don't have him and we just want to go home?
Yeah, that's not how this works.
No.
Like, there's going to be some questioning. At least they're Romulans. They're like that.
Yeah.
Uh, so we have the some of the XBs lined up.
A literal firing squad.
Yes, yes. Narissa, the Tal Shiar agent, she orders some to be executed. And Jonathan Del Arco, who plays Hugh, I think this is an amazing moment for him. I mean, he really shines in this episode where he feels every death.
He literally told them, each XB, yes, we're here to turn your life around and help
I
you
know.
reclaim a part of your old self, and didn't happen.
Yep, absolutely. I it's heartbreaking seeing him do this because this is his life's work. He is one of my favorite characters on the show because his intentions are so pure. And to
Absolutely.
see this happening and the reaction of his face, like these people trusted him.
Yeah.
And this is the exact opposite of what he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And But
and here
he
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 just
won't
hardens.
yeah, he won't give up Picard though.
I love this look because even with all it on the line, he still is like, no, I have a mission. I have my loyalties.
Yes.
Man,
All right, and Narissa just sends out the execution order. Kill them all. And we have Narek. He gets into his own ship,
he
uh,
goes somewhere else.
goes somewhere else, and
And here Nerissa's just twisting the knife, saying, "Yeah, they didn't die because they were ex-Borg. They didn't die because they were bad at their jobs. They died because you, Hugh."
yes, and the fate of trillions of souls of the galaxy. The blood is on his hands. Unfortunately for Narissa, uh, Hugh is protected under a treaty of the Federation. He is, I think, a Federation citizen, so that's why he is protected. But the other XBs are not.
Or maybe he's the liaison between him and the
Yes,
Federation
yes,
because when Picard came over, he's like, "Hey, I need to talk to the leader."
yes, yes.
And there's a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah, it was
With
explained in a previous episode. But moving on, uh, yeah, they let go of the tractor beam,
and
and
Rios is like, "Oh, Rafi, you did it,"
like,
and she's like, "What?"
nope, nope, not me. And what about Elnor? What about Space Legolas?
Ah, but
Uh,
but he finds Hugh
he finds Hugh, and like Elnor decides to stay on the Borg cube, and
because that's what he does. He's there for hopeless missions.
yes, yes, yeah, he decides to have them go, and everybody here thinks you're crazy and brave, yes,
Of course, she would try to elevate.
yes. So La Serena flees, but Narek follows them, Boba Fett style.
Oh, I was thinking
Empi-
the same thing while I was watching
Empire
the
Strikes
episode.
Back.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So yeah, that's one hell of a teaser you got there. Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
That
sets a
be,
lot of things up.
before the first opening credits,
Yeah.
it's just like 11 minutes. Yeah, like 10, 11 minutes of just really good television.
All right. So we go to Nepenthe. Uh, that is the planet that Riker and Troy are on. Oh, by the way, spoilers. Of course. Yeah. I mean breakdowns. You should know better.
Yeah.
Anyway, we looked it up. Nepenthe is a in Homer's Odyssey. It's a drug that was used for banishing grief or trouble from a person's mind.
Yep.
So a drug of forgetfulness.
Or a drug of healing, depending on
Yes, yes, yes,
on what troubles you.
yes. So, and this is the episode where it's about dealing with sorrow and dealing with pain and healing. So that's yeah. I
Yeah.
really do like uh, how these planets and these systems are named because there is subtext to all of them. And
And it's not just like, oh, these planets have to look cool and have to look alien. It's the pathos
yes,
behind the planets and what's the real meaning.
absolutely, absolutely. So we go forward. They meet up with Kestra.
Now, the first time I heard the name, it was like ringing in my ears, but I didn't know why it was familiar.
Yes, yes, yes. So Kestra, the daughter of Deanna
No,
and
yeah, and Riker
Riker, is
will,
named, and I assume she is named after Kestra Troy, who is the older sister who passed away, the
yeah,
older sister of Deanna Troy.
yeah. We learned about this in a Star Trek TNG episode
Yes.
with Waxana,
Yep. Yeah, it's a nice nod to her. Yes.
and it makes sense why she would name her daughter that. So it's like, ah, such a great Easter egg.
Yes. So
So I love how you meet this person, and it's like, oh, here's a wild girl of the woods.
yes, I. The more I watch the show, the more I'm like, you're Picard, you're Space Gandalf. I'm like, this is a fantasy show.
Space Granddad.
Oh, quick nod. Picard mentioned that his heart is solid duratanium.
Yep. And
Now,
this is a callback from one of my favorite Q episodes,
yes,
Tapestry.
tapestry. Yes, in Picard's younger days, I think he was a young ensign. He was stabbed by Nuskin through the heart. He had his heart removed, and it was replaced with
That guy.
an artificial heart. So yeah, oh, that's a nice nod. I like that.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know if he was an ensign or if he was about to graduate Starfleet. It's
yeah,
one of those. But
yeah. He
he
was
early in his career.
just early in his career. Yeah, I think it was one of his first missions, and he was just on shore leave on that planet. But if I'm wrong, please correct me.
Yeah, let us know down in the comments.
Yes. All right.
But I just love that episode so much.
Oh yeah, no, it's an episode you watch it and it gets better as you get older because you start having regrets and like, oh, what if this was different? What if that was different? And
I actually lived my life as in my teens and 20s with that, like saying, I don't want no regrets. So thank you, Q.
yes,
So
yes,
here, Jean-Luc Picard is just being Jean-Luc Picard, like, oh yes, Kestra, are we safe here? Because you have Soji here, just freaked out by somebody, like, drawing down on them.
yes, exactly. So they're walking along and it gets the point
Point.
where uh, Picard tells Kestra that Soji's father is Commander Data, and
Now, if this was anybody else on the show that did the next line of, you're an android, I would be really upset. But no, this is the mind of a child or a mind of somebody growing up.
yes,
Where it's like, of course they would have absolute candor without knowing what absolute candor is. And
hmm
it's just like, oh, look at those daggers.
yeah. And it's the thing is we've kind of saw this scene before in the first episode because Dodge went through something similar. Like you're an android.
Yeah, and it's like, oh crap, is she gonna go all postal?
Yes,
And oh, I don't want to get into it now. I want to
yes,
get
yes,
into it
yes.
with the thing with
But
Troy. But
she mentions that her memories, her mother and father, and her sister, they're not real. And Dodge was real, but double whammy, Dodge also died
but
in
more
the first
importantly,
episode.
those feelings and emotions that she had towards Dodge were totally real. So at least she has that to hold on to. And
Yes.
man, this actress just
Yeah, no, it's
I don't know the actress's name. I forget.
Issa Bronze. Yes.
But this part just made, like, the first time I saw it, it hurt me.
Oh yes. And yeah, if I was in her position, it's like this might be another Romulan trick where it's a double bluff.
And that totally makes sense,
Yeah.
just because
It's like
what can she really believe?
yeah, lose, and it's a thing I've seen a lot in media. You lose the trust of a person, and then you send someone there, you escape, and then that person gains their trust, and they start giving information, and it's like that happens a lot in spy movies.
Yeah.
So, I don't blame Dodge for being distrustful. Oh,
So
oh yes, yes, with Soji,
yeah.
yes, but yes, we see Deanna Troy and
Marina Circus.
Mina Sirtis, yes.
So glad she's here.
Yeah, I like that she's wearing something that's close to her original color that she wore in her first episode. This is actually from All Good Things, but yeah, you get the point.
Yeah, they use better cameras in season 7.
Yes, but it's the same color than she's wearing when we first see her in Encounter at Farpoint.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, yes. So we have Riker here.
He's grating some cheese for some
grating
reason
some cheese, and there's some jazz music playing.
because he plays the trombone, obviously.
Yeah, plays the trombone. Yeah, and you know what? I would like to rewatch the episode and see if I want to spot a trombone. I was like, maybe there's a trombone in the background. I don't know. Maybe if you
I
see one, yeah, please send it to us.
yeah,
We would love to know.
yeah. But here he's grating some trees, and I didn't get why he was doing that at first,
Yes.
but it comes back.
Yeah. Oh, this scene kind of reminds me of Star Trek Generations, where Picard is asking for help, and he meets up with Kirk, who is
Cooking breakfast
cooking
for
breakfast.
his lady.
And it's like, and they talk about dill and stuff. I'm like, yeah, yeah, this is reminiscent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because in Generations that was the paradise fantasy,
yes,
and here it's literally a paradise planet.
yes.
So
So, oh,
who doesn't want to hug Jean-Luc Picard?
well,
Hugh has hugged him, Riker has hugged him, Troy has hugged him.
here's the thing. He's doing the stuff with the cheese. His hand is so full of flat. He's getting that jacket dirty. I
He is.
look at that. Look, he ruined. He ruined that vest. Ah.
He'll replicate him a new one.
Oh my God, he's just that excited.
Yeah.
Uh, all right,
I
so
love the first reaction of Will, where it's like, "Hey, you need to head out, right?" Just,
need a place to hide out.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
and it's like, you know, this might look like a nice bucolic place. Nope, nope, nope. But
there's technology.
Riker's still Riker. It's like shields up,
Yep.
perimeter scans, and he's had He says that he mentions he has problems with the Kazinti. Maybe that's not how it's pronounced, but I had to look this up. This is actually a very deep cut. This is a reference to the Star Trek animated series. Yeah, they were. They fought the humankind in the late 21st century.
They
Not
fed
really.
on human meat,
Yes.
or so it says on the wiki, or on the fandom. Excuse me.
Yes. But
Wow, that
but
is a super deep cut because that's the second series.
yes, yes. And not quite canon, but yeah, there's a lot that Star Trek draws from it from time to time. So it's like
It's
okay,
canon now.
eh,
Well, Kazinti are.
yeah, the Kazinti are yeah, and anti-cloaking scans. Yes,
Yep.
they want to do that. Now this is interesting because anti-cloaking scans, to me, they either mean Romulans or Klingons. So now I'm wondering what happened to the Klingon Empire.
And they actually mention it in the show a little later. Just a little nod. So, but it's one of those things that they bring it up twice without, well,
Yeah.
once directly and once indirectly here. So it's
Yes.
like, yeah, what is going on with the Klingons?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, but it's like they just assume it's Romulans, and it's like so they don't really have much issue with the Klingons right now.
Or it's just Will knowing that you poked that Romulan nest back when you try to save them,
Yeah, they mentions the Romulans and just
and no
no
good
good
deed
deed
goes
goes unpunished.
unpunished.
Yeah, and
Troy
Troy
immediately knows what's up because
knows
she's an
what's up. Like
empath.
I can't sense anything from her, which is odd because I think that when Data had fast spurts of emotion, that she could actually read from him.
That was after the emotion chip was implanted.
Yes.
So I'm wondering what kind of a
Yeah.
emotion chip does, or maybe doesn't have an emotion chip. Maybe the positronic brain has just become that sophisticated.
Yeah, it's a few things, but yeah, it's you know,
Or
it's something that like okay,
it's a data point.
I'm
But
thinking
bump.
okay, and pizza and a wood-fired oven.
And now we know why they needed the cheese.
Yes, it's all everything is explained.
Yes.
um, so Kestra talks to uh,
So,
Soji, and just talking about various things.
can you play the violin?
Oh,
Are you
do you
super
like Sherlock
strong?
Holmes? Are you super strong? And this is yeah, all stuff from Next Gen. So Data did play the violins. He did cosplay as Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And literally in his trial he had a
yeah, he bent. Yeah,
so yeah.
yeah. I've never seen him like run super fast, or I've seen him jump from high places.
Yeah.
So that's where it's like, well, okay, maybe he could. I don't know.
He never had a long runway just to run down.
Yes, it was always the same corridor in Next Gen.
Yeah. It wasn't like Battlestar Galactica where they trained in
Yeah.
the hallways.
Yes, and they also mention that Data wasn't just a robot. He could do all these amazing things, but he wanted simple things. He wanted to dream and to tell jokes and ballroom dance, and it's
It's a
yeah,
callback to when
yeah, a
Crusher.
callback.
Of course, you'd use this episode.
The great thing about this episode is that there's unlimited data.
Oh,
Oh, snap, son.
yeah. Where he wants to dream. Later in other parts of the series, he definitely tries to dance,
Yes.
and it's amazing how
Yeah, you got him as a comic or trying to tell jokes. Humor is very hard.
it is.
It is. It's a hard thing. I don't blame him. Um, And oh yeah, this is the famous Data's Day episode where it's oh my god.
I love how Data can tap dance instantaneously, and then he can't ballroom dance,
Yeah,
and his reasoning is, "I can't see your feet."
I can't see your feet.
And clearly, she's a fangirl because she knows all this stuff about Data, or she just likes to listen to her dad talk.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's yeah. To me, Data's like as a kid, I naturally gravitated to Data, so I don't blame her. Data is fascinating.
Well, I like Data just because he was Jordy's best friend.
he was Jordy had a lot of friends. He was the he was in the friend zone as it were.
Oh,
Oh snap, son.
oh man.
yeah.
So I love how Soji has all this self doubt and all this reservation because she doesn't know who she is anymore.
Yes.
And Kester here's like, "Oh, you're awesome. You're amazing."
Yes. You know, this reminds me of something Data said. It's like that. It's not just about having it. It's that he's endeavoring to be more human. The actual struggle to do it, and that's what's important.
It's the
And
journey.
it's the journey, and that's something Soji has to go on.
Yeah.
You know, it's she has to find her own way, and that's what she's all about,
Yeah.
finding her place in the universe.
And we kind of glossed over it, but it's fascinating how it's like to us. Oh yeah, I just needed to take a sip because my mouth was a little dry, and it's like yeah, mucus and spit, and it's
Yes,
like yeah,
yeah, she
Data
could.
would do that because he thinks being a human is the epitome of life forms or one of them.
Yeah.
You know, so
Oh, this is
heartbreaking.
heartbreaking. Yeah, you know what? You can't see it here, but there's a slight hesitation right before she opens that
Oh,
door.
there was a pause. I felt it. There was that
Yeah, and it's like,
what's it? It's
and
called a
it's
pregnant pause.
a pregnant pause, and it's because the son of Troy and Riker, you know, passed away. I think recently. They're still dealing with that, and like, just you got to go into his old room.
Even if it wasn't recently, that would still be, you
Yes,
know.
yes,
And the reason they have to go in there is that this is where Picard gets to chill for a little bit.
yes, yes. So,
That is his name. I was
Thad,
trying
yeah,
to.
Thaddeus, which is an interesting name because I was like Thaddeus Riker. Where have I heard that? And it's actually another interesting reference from Voyager this time.
Ooh,
Thaddeus Riker. So there's a time where Q was on the Starship Voyager and just brings Riker in, and Riker talks about. Long story short, Riker talks about one of his ancestors, Thaddeus Riker, and Thaddeus Riker was a soldier who was saved by AQ. Yeah, so it's very interesting how that all worked out. I'm like, yeah, yeah,
it's a nice human name, and it's a great callback because yeah, Q was just trying to convince Janeway of doing something. I forget what it was.
yeah. It was
Now this is interesting because uh, here Picard's like, oh yeah, I remember meeting Dad for the first time when he was 5 years old,
yes,
and
and he was speaking. He had a language that he created.
that I know why Picard would remember. Oh yeah, that's the first time I met the kid because the kid really impressed him. But that wasn't the very first time.
yes,
It was in that picture,
yes,
and it's like, yeah, of course, Troy would remember that.
yep, absolutely.
And
Um,
this is super important. Uh, one for Picard, and two, as just a great showing of his lack of understanding because he's not a dad. He doesn't have kids,
no, no.
and here we just have Troy gently massaging that idea of you have to be less captain.
Well, that comes
Oh yeah,
later,
sorry,
but
I'm jumping ahead. I'm jumping
but
ahead.
it's talking about the loss and that since Troy is part Betazoid, she's an empath and she has her own grief, but she also feels the grief of her family, so things are doubled, tripled. So she feels it very differently.
Yes,
Yeah. And I love this line that she's not as brave as she used to be, but that's only because
she's wiser.
she's wiser.
and
And like
it makes sense.
that's what happens. Like you get older.
And you cherish your life more,
Yes,
or
you get
you understand what risks are.
yes, people depend on you, and you know there's more fear. Whereas if you're in your 20s gallivanting through space, like you just really have to care about yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay,
Now
so
we jump back to
back
La,
to
La
La
Serena.
Serena, and yeah, somebody's tailing them, and
It's definitely going to be
it's Narek over there. They figured that out. Oh, can they shake him? And they,
and they kind of do,
yeah,
but they're like, "Oh yeah, we could shake him, and then when we lose him, we'll go and do our mission."
yeah, really fast. Girardi mentions, he's like, I want to be the fun crew member. Says, oh, let's hide in that comet, and it turns out to be a giant Gormigander or something. And I was like, a Gormigander? Where have I heard that? And that's actually a reference to Star Trek Discovery, where they find a Gormigander. It's
That's
the
right.
big space whale thing.
Oh
Where
yeah,
yeah, right. And
nice.
that would have been a pretty typical TNG episode.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's pretty cool. But this is an interesting change in character where it's like, no, I don't want to find the synth. I don't want to find Picard because it's a thing she's done. It's like
she wants to go home,
things are not gonna end well,
and
and she knows that they're you know
yeah,
they're being followed.
she knows she's a double agent, and
Yeah,
what is heartbreaking here is that you have Rafi. She's not Rafi anymore. She's Auntie Rafi, and
yeah.
she's here
It's like
to give you what you need.
let's get you some cake.
Yes, it's like I want an Auntie Rafi.
All right. Picard back on Nepenthe is talking to Riker and just and I love that we're in trouble. Who and you're not really thinking that much. It's like I gotta find the person that I trust. Like
And of course, you go to his number one.
I know, and it's a compass really.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's a good
yeah.
callback to the episode.
We'll bring back the compass later, but yeah,
Here you have Riker just talking about his cooking and how
it's
he's going to make
cooking
the
and
pizza.
the Guardians. Yeah.
And Picard's just like, I'm in trouble, but I don't want to tell you why I'm in trouble.
Yes, and Dodge is just witnessing them, and she does that the dated head tilt. Nice touch. And uh, Kestra mentions that Riker said that Picard was the greatest captain ever.
And he's like, I must have been drinking at the time.
Like that's embarrassing.
Yeah, man. From
And
the mouth of babes.
and this is where I think it's really good writing because there's exposition. We're catching up with the people, but at the same time, it's Riker figuring stuff out,
Yeah.
like doing some detective work. So he's like,
And,
"You're worried about cloaks, Romulans,
yep,
Tal Shiar,
because you're super nervous.
super nervous,
Yeah.
and they're following Soji. What did she do? And she's clearly an android.
And
And it's
why?
like
It's one, because Troy said it. And the second one was that head tilt.
that hell tilt. Yeah,
It's just like,
and
yeah.
it's like usually it's like one person telling. It would have been Picard giving him all the information. It's like,
No, Will is better than that.
no, I figured it out. Thank you.
Yeah. And
And
and this is the beautiful part for me
yes,
is that Riker knows that Picard, if it's with Andorians, if it's peace treaties, if it's bluffing with Romulans,
hmm
yeah, he has that. And Will's just like, you're out of your depth because you're dealing with a teenager.
dealing with children, which is his Achilles heel, as it were. And it's
Ooh,
like it's one of the first things he says to Riker. It's like don't have me be an ass around children. You stop
yeah,
me.
yeah, right. Oh yeah, and when they meet for the first time,
Yeah. Baby
and
steps.
Picard's like, yeah, I'm not great. I understand.
Yes.
Oh, great with kids. He's great with everybody else.
So yeah,
Soji here
Soji
gets
is
to have a tomato
a
for the
real
first time.
tomato, a non-replicated tomato,
Oh, non-replicated anything
and
actually.
it's subtext. There's all this subtext here where the food is not just the food; it represents
What's real?
what's real.
And what's her reaction? Oh, real is always better. Real is so much better.
Yes. So
That is clearly a genius
yeah,
because he
it was a
invented
genius
11
invented.
spoken languages.
Yes, he wanted his own homeworld, and
Yeah.
he had, but unfortunately, Thaddeus he died of mandaxic neurosclerosis.
And this goes back to the synths
Yes, the
because
sense.
the treatment is actually using positronic matrices.
Yeah, you just have to culture the infected cells in a positronic matrix, and then
You have to tech the tech.
yes. But because of the synth ban, like you can't, you know, they couldn't do it.
And this is a super important lesson for Soji here because real isn't always better
Yes,
because sometimes you need the artificial to support the real.
absolutely. And this is Marina is doing an amazing job. I think this is one for her best episodes of anything.
Like I could really see the pain in her eyes saying the story, but she has to be strong because she's like, I'm in counselor mode, and clearly this person needs more help than me.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's just like,
Whereas
wow.
Riker's making a pizza, but we love Riker.
Well, well, he knows what his lane is, and and it's like I can't comfort you with words, but I can comfort your tummy with freshly grated cheese, freshly grown tomatoes, and Hungarian basil that grows like weeds.
um, on Terran. Yeah, yeah, from yeah. It's something Khan says. I will chase him around the Antares Nebula.
Ah,
Yeah, Antares is a an ongoing thing in Star Trek. Yeah,
it's a big system,
but Soji still doesn't trust Picard.
and it makes sense.
Yeah,
Literally, this woman fell in love with somebody, and then that dude just like, okay, you're gonna die now.
yeah. Is this all happening in your mind? You don't know. It's happened, and
And Picard just says the
comes in. It's like,
worst thing possible to
yeah. I'm
somebody
like,
in doubt.
this isn't like the Picard we know. Usually is a lot more compassionate, but it's like he's just what you're thinking is preposterous. I'm like, no, you've all been through like mind hell or being tortured in
Yeah,
one way or another, so he should know better. He literally lived a lifetime in his mind.
yeah. He had kids. He should know better, but nope.
Yeah.
Well, he had kids there, but and he literally says the one affirmation that she wanted to hear this whole time was, "I wouldn't trust any of us."
Yes.
And it's like, ah,
Yeah, and then
and she doesn't kill him here,
yeah,
which is
Soji.
progress.
Yes, yes, could have broken him in half, but uh, uh, yeah, Troy comes in. It's like a counselor's not supposed to say this, but you had it coming. And I love that Riker's like, easy there, Imzadi. And that's
A
a
great
Betazoid.
callback because
Yeah,
that's like
term of that's like saying beloved.
it's more than beloved. It's like mind soulmates.
Yeah, yeah, and it's an ongoing thing in next gen. Imzadi. Yeah,
Wow, they really aged him well in that photo.
that's pretty good. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
good job, artist. Yeah,
All
but
right.
yeah, Picard was kind of deserving it,
Yeah. Um.
and here, Picard is just like stripped down to like,
It's like, do you have any idea what that young one's been through? And she's doubting her reality.
she literally has to be like, hey, I gotta psycho analysis this because you clearly don't understand Picard.
And all right, we got to bring the Picard back. The compassion and the patience is like pretend that our dinner table is the ready room of the Enterprise, and I love that. Okay, all right.
Because at the ready room,
The,
everybody had the opportunity to speak and were
yes,
respected.
yes,
And I feel like she knows that it wasn't happening.
yeah, and a burnt tomato because sometimes real is flawed.
Hey, I know some people who like burnt toast, so
And I think it's important that they're cooking in a wood oven because like a wood heated pizza, it's as we know, It's uneven. It's imperfect, but that's what makes it great.
You're just making me hungry, dude.
I know. I know. We just had it last a few days
Yeah,
ago,
we just had it last weekend.
and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Star Trek.
All right, so enough talking about this pizza because it's just making me more hungry, bro. So, but poor tomato.
So, it's a sad, sad day.
Yeah.
All right, so back on the cube. Uh, Hugh is with Elnor, and they. You think this is gonna, go someplace? We're gonna take the cube back.
Yeah,
Me and you, Elnor.
yeah, he was ready to avenge his fallen brethren.
Yes, but yeah,
Narissa,
Nerissa, of course, Romulan listening in, open insurrection, which means, oh, the
you
treaty's off. You could die now.
and she's just happy, and it's terrible. And but she finally gets what she wants.
Yes. So you got Elnor with his Elnor line. Yeah, I could see a lot of cosplays as Elnor going up. Um,
He just has very long eyebrows.
yes, yes. So he
But
does some cool
Elnor stuff,
Elnor stuff.
and Narissa first distracts Elnor like I'm gonna cut you,
Cut you, and
and
then she throws a dagger
right
into
into the
Hugh, and I was like,
no
no,
you.
I was like, I really love Hugh, man.
Yeah,
Oh, this is so unceremonious, and it's so quick too. I'm like, what? This happened?
I feel the rug was pulled out from under us,
Yeah.
and and I have never seen Elnor stop fighting, and he stops fighting for Hugh,
Yes.
and this teleport happens at the exact moment she's about to get hit by a knife.
Yes.
So
And
I'm wondering, is it a defense thing, or is she like somebody saw and was like, I have to save you. I want answers.
yeah,
Show.
that's a good question. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, Hugh is dying.
And how's this for a
And
lost cause? Because Hugh knows what's up with Elnor.
yes.
It got explained to him before by Picard.
Yeah. Yeah. How yeah, the warrior nuns, they only do lost causes. Um, and I think this isn't the end of Hugh because like we've seen Star Trek characters come back from so much more. Spock was dead.
Literally
Like
dead.
Picard again got stabbed through the heart. And like this little carotid artery thing. I mean, and I just really like Jonathan Del Arco in this. I think he's really one of the great things in the show. It's like you can't get rid of him now. You really can't.
Yeah, Ensign Kim died.
He died.
So yeah, I'm just going through the list of characters that died that they brought back through
Yeah.
one form or another.
Neelix died.
Tuvok died.
Tuvok died. Tuvix died.
They didn't bring back Tuvix.
They did not bring back Tuvix. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. Even for nerds, we're just going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, one
Great.
thing though, just to go back to Hugh, good ups to the special effects artist because
Yeah.
that
Like
the blood spurt. I
the
don't know.
blood spurt. Yes.
It looked like it was going with the pulse,
Yeah. It
and
was. Yeah.
it's just
Some good blood stuff.
yeah.
What I find interesting about when we go back to La Serena and we see Girardi, this is a similar type of foreground displacement that they use for Commander O when we first see her in her office,
Where
it's
they
like
block out
they
the face.
they block out her face and they're double images where it represents that she has her own agenda. So that's another thing.
And this is gonna come back directly in the show. So
Yeah,
um,
and yeah, she Girardi is on her third piece of
red velvet cake.
red velvet cake.
It's important.
And
And Rafi here is just like, I'm a wreckage of a good person because Dr. Girardi's just happy. Agnes is just happy that she has a friend, and Rafi knows her lane.
yeah, and it's like she could pull it together in emergencies, and I love this. So, like Michelle Hurd's really outdoing herself in this scene.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, for me, she's like the best. She's bringing it as much as and more so than Picard. It's like, wow, I actually love you more.
yes,
But they're just talking, and now the shadow is back.
yes.
Eric.
Shadow's back, and I think this is the moment where she knows for a fact that they're being tracked, and she either consciously or subconsciously vomits
Yep.
because she ingested the tracker and she just wants it out of her now.
Yep. And and for Rios, he's like, "Whoa, is that blood? Because it's red."
It's red velvet. And a small little thing, like Michelle heard, Rafi is just hold it back, hold it back.
And she's like, "Hospitality, where are you?" Ah!
And that could happen. I expected more out of a Starfleet officer. I know she would have seen worse things, but
But here's the thing.
yeah, I know.
Something that I found out is that everybody has that. Most people, I'm gonna say,
Yeah,
have one thing that will just make them go
yeah,
up chuck,
yeah,
and we might have found Rafi's.
yeah. And everyone's different. Like I can't. I'm not gonna blame her. I'm just. I know you've seen. She was a commander. She's seen way worse than that.
Yeah.
So just saying.
So they're at the dinner. So now we're back on
Yes, and
we're back with Riker
yeah,
and the family.
talking about how Narek extracted information out of Soji with the Romulan meditation ritual, and yeah, the distrust comes through, and Picard says, "Listen to the timbre of my voice.
Listen to the heartbeat,
You can the heartbeat." Because he knows that Soji has been activated, so she can do,
the data stuff,
the data stuff now. So
and
you
you
can
can
trust me.
trust me.
And
And
the
I love the line that Soji gives because it's like it's not that oh yeah I trust you. It's like I feel you believe what you're saying,
yes,
and it's such that's such a great way to say that's such a just an economy of writing where it's like yeah she still doesn't trust him.
yes. So he talks about before Dodge came to Picard, he was haunted by his past, really wasting his days away, just waiting to die.
Yeah, he was literally the Hermit of Labar.
Yes, and now he has a mission. He's alive. And so she says that she saw two red moons and a sky full of lightning, and with the help of another captain, uh, Kestra finds out that they're in the Vite sector in the Gulian system. And what I'd like to talk about now is, we had Thaddeus who really loved languages. He invented 11, perhaps 12 languages if you count butterflies.
Yeah.
And you know what he would have really loved the story of? Darmok,
Oh.
which is all about language and communication. And this is really what Soji and Picard need, because it's like, they're having problems understanding each other, trusting each other, and this is Soji and Picard at Nepenthe.
Ooh. I like it.
I know, right? And maybe it's a reach. Maybe it's like, oh, it's not intended, but you know what?
I'm not disagreeing because they're literally speaking the same language with two different interpretations, and they have
Yes,
to come together.
yes,
And now they did.
absolutely, and they did, and it takes some thinking. You both have to change your mind,
Yeah.
and yeah, that definitely yeah, that's what I really thought about. Where it's like, all right, and I was really hoping, maybe I'm reaching, but I was really hoping they'd put some Darmok type stuff into to a Picard. So maybe I'm just imprinting something that's not quite there, but yes.
Hey, if your mind goes there, your mind goes
Yeah,
there.
so it was Captain Crandall. I want to see Captain Crandall. He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Another broken person, from what Riker says.
yeah. All right, so Rios thinks that Rafi is being tracked because she had some shady stuff to do on Free Cloud.
Right. She was all about I'm not coming back, and then she comes back
And then she
without
comes back.
with a whimper.
Yes. Again, Narek finds them, and
And now it's all coming apart for Agnes because she's like, "Oh no, I'm literally causing this. I'm
yeah.
literally stirring the pot."
So she replicates a special hypo spray. She sprays herself, and we have the EMH come in, and she's having a seizure,
Yep.
and Narek loses loses the ship because she did the hypo spray,
Hmm.
and Agnes is now in a coma. We see Elnor; he's hiding out, and there's something very childlike and naive about Elnor because he's just in the corner, huddled you know, like a
A
like
scared
a
child.
like a child.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's
And he comes here because Hugh told him, "Oh, I left something in this room that is too powerful, and I forgot it."
yes,
And it ends up being this little medallion thing.
yes, and he
Fenris SOS initiated.
I know he like if this was an RPG, this is a summon. he
Yes.
summons he summoned 7 of 9.
Yeah, and I know I've been waiting for her to come back, and now she hopefully she comes back. Well,
Yes.
you know.
All right, but we talk about the new crew versus the old crew, and that there's a lot of drama, a lot of baggage, but Picard also has baggage, so
Yeah.
he's his hands are not clean there.
Now something that the cast and crew were talking about before this episode
Yes.
is that on their group chat they're called the Motley Crew, and
It's
here,
like yes, yes. They he literally calls them a motley crew.
yeah, I
But
forget where exactly, but
yeah, but yeah, just take our word for it. They say it.
yeah,
And Picard, I think, subconsciously came to Riker because he knew that Riker would enable him on the adventure. It's like he wouldn't try to stop him.
yeah,
Yes,
he just wants one friendly voice.
yes. And it's like Riker knows better than to stop Picard.
Yeah,
And you have Kestra here, and
she's saying
Kestra,
how she got through her tragedy because she leaned on her parents, and her parents leaned on her. And she's telling Soji the same thing. Like, you have Captain Picard.
hmm. You know what? She is 1/4 Betazoid, right?
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know how far telepathy or empathy goes with the Betazoids, but it's an interesting concept. Yeah, it's just something that occurred to me right now.
I didn't. That was a blind spot for me. Yeah, she
Yes.
is a quarter Betazoid.
Yeah.
Nice.
She has one hell of a grandma. Uh,
Literal royalty. Literal
yes.
ambassador.
Yes.
So,
And this is the compass that Kestra had, and the compass is given to Soji.
now, this is so important for many reasons. One,
Yes.
now Soji has a real friend,
Yes.
and that's important. But more importantly is that in the beginning, uh, Kestra tells him, "Oh yeah, this compass is broken." But here she's like, you know, if you just pretend it's working, I think that's all you need.
Yes.
And it's
And
like
that's
fake it till you make it.
that's it's symbolic because all right, you know what? You're not human, but you know what? What's so great about being human? It's about what you. It's the purpose. It's what you do.
Yeah,
It's like your feelings are real.
yeah. And to me, Data was more human than a lot of humans I've met.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
love it.
And uh,
Rios
Soji and
transport them,
yeah, they transport
transports them away.
off, and we leave off with the Riker family, and we tilt
Troy
up.
Riker. There, it's
Troy
hyphenated.
Riker, yeah,
It's in the picture.
yes, and yeah, that's the episode. So any thoughts?
For me, it felt like a super important episode because how you got to bridge that gap between Soji and Picard because she literally can't trust people, and of course the person to bridge that gap is going to be Diana.
Yep, yep, Deanna Troy, and yeah, I gotta tell you, yeah, she's amazing in this. She really is.
Literally the soul of the episode.
Yeah, and to me, this is the most TNG episode I've ever seen, and I know the show is not TNG, but it's like, oh wow, yeah, this is we got to remind you of who you are, Picard, and it's yeah, really refreshing, and it's a lot of character study, what irks me about some of the earlier episodes, like we're on the board cube and it's like exposition. We got to explain things, and like this is where characters have to grow and trust each other. So
And we definitely get that because uh, or lose trust in each other because you have Chris and confiding to Agnes, "Hey, I don't know if I trust Rafi." And then on the flip side,
yes, yeah,
it's
that's a very good point. This episode is all about trust.
yeah, and then on the flip side, you have Soji having to trust Picard,
Hmm.
and it's great because you have that double agent in Agnes being stirring the pot, and then
Yeah,
you have Troy just being the counselor, bringing everybody together.
yeah. Well, I can't wait for the next episode because I think Girardi's they're coming home to roost. It's like it's all coming to, and then you got the Fenris Ranger. We all know who it is, but she's gonna come to the Borg cube, so that's gonna be really cool.
I am afraid for everybody if Hugh doesn't make it because
Yeah, I,
Seven and Hugh they literally have the same story.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah, granted, there's a lot of details that are different, but if there's anybody in the world that understood Seven,
yes, yes,
uh,
yeah. Hugh would have been a peer to Seven. They would have known each other.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next one. Until then,
Hope we didn't waste
waste
your
your time.
time.